So first of all, welcome. My name's Mary Waldron. I'm the Executive Director here at Old Colony Planning Council. We are a regional planning agency that covers from, let's see, Easton is our furthest west community, and then we go all the way to Plymouth. And we have 17 communities. This portion, in terms of STEAM and what we're doing, kind of falls in a little bit of coalition building and bringing people together and convening, but it does intertwine with workforce development, economic development, and just quality of life and everything that we do. And many of the aspects also does involve planning, so making sure zoning is in place to afford the industries that involve STEAM. So there are so many of you on here that I'm not going to begin to go around the room, but we have some stakeholders that have been here. As you saw in the email that Megan sent out, I think she sent it out or she sent it out on my behalf. We're moving to 3 times a year for these discussions. Part of it is because my staff is growing and we're doing lots of things, and my time is being stretched really, really thin, but it's a good problem to have. But we have, again, many stakeholders and partners that are here, and we'll continue to keep the listserv and continue to communicate with each other and amongst ourselves. So we are, again, if you are joining us, please just rename yourself so we can make sure that we capture those that are joining us. So I think that's kind of, I covered the coalition communications and overview and guide. Megan, did I miss anything on that?
No, I think, again, we're trying to use the listserv when possible. I know it's not very active, but we do highly encourage you to use it to have more continuous conversations with everyone in this coalition, whether it's just updating someone on updating the group on an event coming up or an award you've received, etc. It's a great opportunity to do that. So I do highly encourage using it to Mary's point, reducing the amount of specific meetings that we're holding. It still will allow us to be in touch with each other.
Thank you, Megan. That's the supplemental part that's really important. And again, you don't have to go through us to communicate with each other. You know, if Massasoit is having an event and they need support, or you need a letter of support, or I know I don't see New Heights. I'm looking here quickly. I don't see New Heights, but I know that New Heights have really stepped up the plate in terms of the Mass Life Science Center and looking, applying for grants. That's what we're here for. And whether we're a community, whether it's university, I'm Matt, I'm from Bridgewater State University, teaming up with, again, other partners around the table. So I think just a great opening. Does anybody have questions about that and how to do that? And if you don't know how to do it, certainly do contact myself, Megan, or Elise from our office. We'll make sure that that happens. It's not always when you're on Hollywood Square boxes here, still after 3.5, almost 4 years, right? We never know quite how that works. But so that's a coalition. We want to, again, support all the work that's being done in our region and, of course, throughout the state. So there are no questions. I would like to then turn this over from Manomet, and I don't know who's going to take the lead. Molly, are you going to take the lead on this? And then
yes.
Great. And Claire, thank you for both from Manomet. So if you could just talk first a little bit about yourself and what you do, and then and go into your presentation.
Absolutely. So my name is Molly Jacobs. I'm Manomet's Vice President for Environmental Education and Outreach. We're really delighted to be here today. Very supportive of the work that this group is doing. I'll introduce my colleague, Claire. Claire, do you want to say a few words? Introduce yourself to the group?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Claire Cunningham, and I am the Education Manager with Manomet. So I'm involved in most of our education and outreach, both here at Manomet, which is based in Plymouth, if anybody doesn't know, and then also all of the awesome work that we're doing in Brockton. Yes.
Yeah, and I'll say that Manomet is a Western Hemisphere-wide conservation organization. We have a strong focus on birds, but not exclusive focus. And we are known as a coalition builder, a capacity builder. Manomet is not huge, but in all the places we work, we try to bring people together or find existing coalitions and join in because we know that we're stronger together. So very excited to be here. I think what I'll do to introduce our local work in Brockton, I'm going to use the presentation that I made because it gives an overview of some of the projects we've taken on that I think might be of interest to folks in this group. So if I could, I think I must have clicked the wrong thing. There we go. Everyone see that?
Yes, thank you.
All right. Okay, excellent. So as a conservation organization, when we think about our education work, really our big picture goal is to support the growth of the next generation of environmental stewards, right? We want people to form connections to nature and the outdoors and science and nature early on in their lives, grow up to love those things, and then be good environmental decision makers in the future, to grow up to be good partners for organizations like ours. And so big picture, that's what we're aiming for. In Brockton, we got our start, actually, back up for a minute. We started working in Brockton as part of a collaboration with Wildlands Trust, which is our local land trust. I hope a lot of you are aware of the excellent work that Wildlands is doing. And one thing they're leading in Brockton is the DW Field Park Initiative. And I know the Old Colony Planning Council is a partner on that initiative, and there may be others in the Zoom room today who are also involved. It's a wonderful project, really focused on helping boost the green space that's available to people in Brockton and make it work better for the community. And it's a fabulous initiative because the more people, from our perspective, the more time people spend outside in nature, and having that be part of their sense of place and sense of space, the better stewards they'll be. So we started getting involved in the community of Brockton through our participation in that initiative. We've done some environmental survey work focused on birds and other habitat quality items. And then we've also collaborated with Wildlands and others on educational and public events like BioBlitzes. We were recently funded by NOAA for a large education initiative that's complementary to the Field Park Initiative called Brockton Kids Lead the Way. And this is a 4-year initiative focused on building outdoor learning spaces at local elementary schools in Brockton. And the major themes are environmental stewardship and community resilience, focused on our smallest school children. And the reason for this is that we really are trying to sustainably build capacity within the Brockton public school system to get kids outdoors, learning about nature, learning outside, and incorporating some of these ideas into the things they do every day, not just into the science specials, which at elementary level science is a special. They get it once a week if they're lucky. But if teachers feel comfortable teaching outside, then they can take their English or language classes outside or their math classes outside and really teach in a more integrative way. And so the goal here is to work with schools on both curriculum and on physical outdoor learning infrastructure to boost capacity within the school system. We spend a lot of time thinking about how one inspires environmental stewardship, and there's literature and research that's gone into that. And we know that environmental stewardship doesn't just happen necessarily. It happens when people recognize the value of nature, right? They have environmental values, usually because they've had contact with nature. It happens when people's appreciation of nature or connection with nature intersects with their personal ethics. And personal ethics is something that arises because of family, because of community, because of all sorts of factors. Also concern for community. When people are thinking about the community that they're part of and they connect that to nature, that leads to stewardship. And the final big piece is taking action. People who have taken some kind of environmental stewardship action in the past are much more likely to take one in the future. And so, and particularly folks living in urban locations are less likely to have had that opportunity in many cases to take action as an environmental steward. And so part of our goal is to provide opportunities for children to be empowered as environmental stewards. So our outdoor learning space project in Brockton Elementary Schools has 4 main parts. First, we spend a year working with teachers and school leaders to find out what schools need, and then design and build outdoor learning spaces at schools. And the picture you're seeing is of a stump circle at Menthala George Junior School in Brockton. We've also been working very hard on a curriculum guide for teachers to help them use their new spaces. And this is something that we're working on customized versions for the specific schools we're working with, but hopefully within the year or so, we're expecting to be able to have a version of this that we can freely share with this group and with others that may help inspire or make it easier to offer environmental education or outdoor learning in whatever context you're doing it. We're also working with students. So this year we built the space already at the George, and this year we're co-teaching with teachers at the George, working with students to learn outside and also to conduct little environmental stewardship projects in the outdoor learning spaces. So give students a chance to take on that stewardship role. And then we're also working to share what we learn with the community. I'm using the term outdoor learning space. This is probably, I don't necessarily need to sell that term to this group possibly, but just a few pictures so you can see what it has meant so far and some of the things that can be part of it. Outdoor classroom can often be a really important piece of outdoor learning, a place where you can settle your class, give them some instructions, return to for analysis. And so this is an example of picnic tables and the outdoor learning classroom in action at the George. Gardens may be a part of it. Here are some pictures from a community build day where members of the community came out to help us plant and build in the George garden space. We try to build in some green infrastructure into these spaces. And so on the left, we have a rain barrel at the George. On the right is a picture of a rain garden. That's a generic picture, not one we built because we haven't built one yet. But I think it's looking like a rain garden is going to be part of the outdoor learning space at our next school, Hancock. And then of course, hiking trails are nature trails, story walks, sensory gardens, lots of different things can go into it. And it varies from place to place what the most appropriate type of outdoor learning space might be for a particular school. One really important thing about the project has been making a community environmental action project. And so these are some pictures from sort of community support for building the outdoor learning space at the George. On the left is a picture of Green Team. And this is a paid youth summer land stewardship internship that's co-led by Wildlands Trust and Manomet, or youth from any high school age youth in Brockton are welcome to apply to be part of Green Team over the summer. And then they participate not just at schools, but also in projects at DW Field Park. And by the way, Claire, am I correct that applications for Green Team have just opened or are opening tomorrow?
You are correct. They are
So
opening tomorrow.
if anyone here has connections to high school age youth in Brockton, please help us spread the word about this opportunity. There's also a section of Green Team called Climate Crew that's going to focus a little more on climate resilience projects this year. That's a new piece that we're excited about. On the right, these are picture on the right is some local families. We had a family work day. And so there's a father and a son. The son is, he's a little old for elementary school. He's a middle school student, an older sibling, a graduate of the school where we were working, and an older sibling of children still in the school, and then a grandfather of another child in the school who were helping us spread wood chips for building the stump circle. And I included this picture of the Brockton High School Envirothon team from 2022 to make the point that really the goal here is to have environmental stewardship be an opportunity available to children and youth in Brockton across the curriculum, starting in elementary school, working their way up to high school, and then beyond high school to higher education. These are students from the 2022 Envirothon team. I think this picture was taken at the Envirothon competition. And Envirothon is also something that's co-led by Manomet and Wildlands Trust. This was an awesome group. This particular group of students, they did a great job. So big picture, so that was kind of a deep dive into a couple of the initiatives that we have going on in Brockton. So Brockton Kids Lead the Way is the elementary school initiative, Green Team. And then we have some related more green space and environment focused initiatives. Two additional things that are up and coming. These are things that we've applied for funding for. We don't have the funding necessarily secured yet, but we're very committed and excited to do it. One is the Brockton Environmental Education Partnership, and that Old Colony Planning Council, this coalition is one of the partners in that partnership, or will be when it forms. And the idea there was to bring together organizations from outside the school system who are committed to environmental education and stewardship in Brockton to share resources and build capacity. So another capacity building effort. And then we also have something called Tree Brockton that we're hoping to get funded that it focuses more specifically on Brockton teachers. And as I think many of you may know, this has been a very stressful time to be a teacher in Brockton. And we feel like the best way to support teachers who are committed to these initiatives is to, so this will involve a community of practice that involves lots of fun field trips for teachers and a lot of networking and support. To help teachers connect with other like-minded teachers and share strategies for getting kids outdoors and connecting with some of these environmental issues. So big picture, we're interested in coalition building in Brockton that will lead to higher environmental literacy and opportunities for stewardship across the city. Of course, we're interested to hear about similar initiatives in adjacent communities as well. We're really excited that this coalition exists and that we have the opportunity to learn from you and figure out where we might be able to overlap. And we're really excited about things to come. It feels like this is a really good moment in Brockton with a lot of folks working together to promote things like green spaces and nature in the city. So I think that was at least 10 minutes. So I'm going to pause there and welcome questions.
Molly and Claire, first of all, thank you. And you were spot on, not sometimes, all the time, we have to take the narrative of what great things that are happening and keep pushing that past the negativity, right? And I've been aware of the work you've been doing, of course, with Wildlands Trust. And right out of the gate, I'm not surprised to see that Katie from Massasoit and then Matt from Bridgewater, right? Hey, we're here. This truly is, it's sometimes the stars do align with all those that can be supportive of the work that's being done. Community-based organization. I know that Cecile from the mayor's office is on, along with Rob May from the city of Brockton as well. But maybe let me just open this up. If those can just either unmute and raise your hand, just who would like to weigh in. And see, go ahead, Katie.
I was just gonna say, excuse me, hearing what you're doing, it's so impressive. And I know as a kid, I would have loved that kind of opportunity. And I just thought, if you would like to contextualize, give them a little bit of incentive to work on, in the future, this could be a part of a larger national scale research project. We could certainly design something for them to work on if that fits with the programming. So certainly just let us know, but we are more than happy. We also have the native gardens on campus if there's anything you could do there. So we have an open line. Feel free. I can drop my email in the chat too.
Yeah, we would welcome that. Let's be great. I'm hoping one result of this will be more conversations with you, Katie, and with others here about areas of common ground that we might find. Mary, is there a contact list for members of the coalition?
So there is, and it's in the listserv that I believe that you are part of. But what I would recommend, just for those to make life a little bit easier for those that are on, drop both of your contact and Claire's in the chat. Make it easier for those who really want to start, just not wait till we're done with the meeting. But everybody, I want to confirm, and this is a good question for those that may be new. The listserv and the contact list is all available for anybody. There is no, because everybody pretty much signed up by agreeing to be part of the listserv. So you have access to that. And please don't wait for me particularly, but don't wait for anybody to get in touch with you. Just because timing is everything, right? Academic years, looking at both Massasoit and Bridgewater State, not only their current, but May's coming, and then summer's coming, and next, we're can't breathe again. Certainly, and I think with Jason Hunter from Mass Hire, the great work that's being done with the Young Adults Initiative. I know that both of you are nodding your head yes, because I know that there is collaboration as well there. Some members of the green team. So let me be quiet. Is there anybody else who would like to say anything? Thank you, Megan, for putting the Google Drive access for everybody.
Mary, Catherine Honey from.
Thank you, Catherine. Thank you.
From Southeast Mass STEM Network. I had the opportunity to see Claire instruct at the Outdoor Learning Center at the George School during STEM Week. And without a doubt, any of you who want to be inspired about how committed and engaged young students are in this type of program, I would suggest contacting Claire or Molly to observe. It was outstanding.
It really is. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate that, Catherine. And Catherine, and the work that maybe just, yeah, let me first stay on with Manomet. Anybody else have questions of Manomet? So
Mary, can I just say,
please.
I know I see a lot of higher ed colleagues in the audience, and I came from higher education myself. I was a professor for many years before I left to join the nonprofit world. And so we would definitely be very eager to connect. We've been focused in Brockton so far on younger students, but eager to find ways to connect with those of you who are engaged in this region and in higher ed as well, and some of these same things, because I think it can be really powerful to connect across learning scales like that.
I would definitely agree. I know that usually the Boys and Girls Club are on this meeting, but I know that they're going through lots of different
here.
things themselves. Oh,
And Jen is here.
oh,
Hi
cool.
there, I'm here.
Yay.
Yeah, this is so exciting. The kids look so happy and peaceful, and it's such a beautiful environment, so natural. I do think, our club kids would absolutely love an experience like this. Oftentimes I think about our pavement, our asphalt in Taunton and in Brockton. And I think about, wow, wouldn't it be nice to like put actual materials in their hands and they could grow things. And so this is very cool. All of the things that we have just seen is so exciting for us.
This is so
Thank
right
you.
there, when we always prepare for these meetings, and I know that we've had some individual, you're kind of like, okay, there's a meeting. And then when this happens, it's like a symphony, right? It's just is. And I get excited for not only just hearing and having more people hear about what you're doing, but also that connectivity of others. So these are recorded, and these will go out to those that there's a number of people that text me that couldn't be here as well. So my comment's going to be both for Molly and Claire. You're going to find more connectivity than you probably ever would think about, but that's all good. Anybody else that would like
Impossible.
just to go ahead? Claire, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, it's impossible to have too many connections.
Yeah, bring it on.
Nope, that's very true. So they're not going anywhere. You guys are going to stay. And if there are any questions, utilize the chat, reach out to them. As I said, Megan put into the chat the direct link to the Google Drive to get everybody's access. So thank you, Molly and Claire. And Megan, I'm not quite sure I remember what was on the agenda next.
It was mostly just open discussion and
perfect.
collaboration opportunities, kind of what
Well,
we've already
Thank
started.
you. Thank you, Megan. We just had finance meeting on Tuesday, council meeting last night. So Megan and I have been playing this meeting role too long, but I'm just going to go right across if I could. And I'm just going to do a shout out. So Katie, would you like to talk about what's going on at Massasoit and some of the things that that the folks on this meeting would like to know about?
Sure thing. So Massasoit, as some are probably more familiar than others, has a well-known native pollinator research project that I can take absolutely no credit for because I just got here last year, but I've worked with them over the past 15 years or so. Basically, we were funded by an NSF STEM grant, which works to give our students scholarships so that they can work less and work in the lab more. We also have some Starter Academy funding. So we have a multi-tiered model here at Massasoit that basically recruits students as they come in as a declared STEM major of any sort. And we invite them to be part of the program, and they get wraparound supports from the very start. They get supplemental instruction if they so desire or need it. And there's a lot of professionalism and other soft skill training. And then that kind of culminates in them becoming interns in our lab. And they're very involved with the East Bridgewater Garden Club. I was going to mention that we have started doing a lot of work with Love for Brockton, Love to Learn over on Main Street. Linda Snelling is their director, and she's absolutely fabulous. And our interns have started getting involved. So sometimes on Saturdays, we just finished a 4-week series where we helped them design hypothesis-based science projects, and then they had a local science fair. We are also, shameless plug, we are in desperate need of folks who are interested in becoming involved with our native gardens and our edible gardens and our bioswale. So there's a lot of opportunity if folks would like to get involved for them to come here and work with us. And then I think, is New Heights on here? I have trouble seeing on.
Yeah, I don't think that they are.
Okay, New Heights has become increasingly involved in the internship program, but just overall with, you know, taking courses here and then at Bridgewater as well. So they're very interested in getting involved in research projects or projects out in the community. And I did want to mention, was Manomet the group that organized the environmental training at DWF, was it DWF Field Park?
DW Field Park.
Yeah, one of our faculty, Andrew Oguma, he attended a training and he raves about it at every division meeting. He's incorporated aspects of that into all of his courses. So I just wanted to give a shout out. He said it was the most fabulous thing. And so he's plans on continuing his involvement.
We had, I'm delighted to hear that. Andrew came to our Bio Blitz, but Molly, he
That's
made
right.
sure that we
Something-
did we haven't done any environmental training. So that might be another group that was working.
It might have been
on that.
Wildlands.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it was actually, but you
Okay.
mentioned
Yeah.
the site and I
They're-
thought,
Their stewardship team, the Wildlands stewardship team is just fantastic. They've been our closest partners so Wildlands is a close partner for Brockton Kids Lead the Way. They've been leading the actual builds of the outdoor learning spaces. I should have mentioned that and I don't know if I did. So yeah, they're just fantastic. And so, and we're excited to hear about all the native pollinator work. We've been trying to do a lot of that work here at Manomet headquarters in Plymouth as well. And so it'd be fun to get some of you guys out for a trip. Those of you who don't already come for the bird banding lab. And we
The,
That
also
would
have
be
a bird banding lab
fantastic.
that all of you are welcome to come visit during banding season. Not portable to Brockton, sadly. It's pretty busy this year, but we would
Katie,
certainly welcome a field trip.
Katie, anything else from Massasoit you'd like to share? I know there's lots of programming and you're on the contact list, so if anybody has anything, but you have the floor, and then I'm gonna go to Matt from Bridgewater State after.
I think we're good. I'm sure I'll think of something after, but I think.
That's okay. Again, I want to get through everybody, and if there is something, either put it in the chat or, so Matt, would you like cyber security and all the things, great things that are going on at Bridgewater State?
Well, that's certainly one of the things at the tips of our tongues these days. So Bridgewater is we just finished construction on a brand new shiny cybersecurity and digital forensics range, which is this really impressive theater looking place where students and industry partners and nonprofits who want to train their staff in cybersecurity, how to handle and respond to digital cyber threats, can come and get training. And we have a new program, a Bachelor of Science program in cybersecurity launching this fall. Just cut the ribbon on the place a couple of weekends ago. So we're super excited about that. Our computer science program in our College of Science and Math is the fastest growing by leaps and bounds. We're just bursting at the seams with computer science students. But that being said, we also have, between computer science and biology, it's our two top departments by size, by numbers of majors in our college. And on the sort of environmental side, I mean, two things that Bridgewater does really, really well. The first is training K-12 math and science teachers. That's kind of in our DNA as a university and has been forever. And we have not only a lot of pre-service teachers come through our hallways in the building, but we also work a lot with in-service teachers and providing professional development and doing outreach activities. So our Center for the Advancement of STEM Education, if any of you have met Jenny Eisenman, she's our director of CASE, runs outreach programs for teachers to bring their classes to campus. And we have a few labs on campus that are specifically sort of set up to be experiential spaces, not only for the students to engage in sort of real scientific experimentation with real scientific apparatus, but also places where their teachers can come and get training on how to help their students to learn techniques and do things in the life sciences. So that's one thing that we do really well. The second is undergraduate research. So we are nationally recognized as an institution. We do more and invest more and have more successful students doing undergraduate research projects really than any other institution that's like ours across the country. And that's especially true in the life sciences. So we just a year or two ago launched a new master's program in biology. So it's a Master of Science degree, which has an early admit structure to it. So students can come and start their bachelor's and they can transition into the master's and be done in 5 years. If they line things up right, it could be a 4+1. We just got a really nice grant last year from Mass Life Sciences. Thank you, Linda. In fact, Linda, we got a chance to show her the space when she was at the ribbon cutting. Was it the ribbon? No, it was at the biotech event. But we got some great funding to sort of upgrade our molecular and cell biology lab apparatus. Dr. Ken Adams, who has one of the biggest research groups in our biology department, super excited about the new equipment that we're going to have in that space. Let's see what else is going on. Oh, we have a new master's program in mathematics also that's launching this fall that sort of complement the Master of Arts in Teaching final licensure credential that we've offered at BSU for a long time. So we're very excited. We're starting to admit students into that too. Numbers wise, we've kind of rebounded from our sort of COVID era downtick in enrollment. We are back up to, in fact, surpassing the numbers of math and science majors in our college compared to where we were pre-COVID by now. So we're pretty happy about the next few years. We're doing some exciting stuff and happy to partner on any of that sounds simpatico.
Thanks, Matt. I know that I, along with a couple members of my staff, are going to be at the for a tour of the cybersecurity range, and I think it's in about 2 weeks. So when we do, I'll make sure we touch base.
It's going to knock your socks off. Yeah, it's super. It's like stepping onto a Hollywood set. It's really
Right.
cool.
I know. And so like between Linda and then I know with Ryan on, right, we've got Massasoit, you've got Bridgewater State, Stonehill College. It looks like we have the trifecta of our higher ed, along with obviously the Brockton Public Schools and all the K through 12 within the region. So I still feel like this is a great place where this whole next region is where the next reiteration's happening. Jason Hunter with Mass Higher, Greater Brockton.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see everybody on the meeting. Just a couple quick hits. Piggybacking on Bridgewater State's success, we were there yesterday in their cyber range, sorry. I'm not going to say something that everyone already has, and it's very, very impressive. It is kind of like being on a movie set when you step into it. It's, is it soundproof? That was a question that came up yesterday. We couldn't tell, but it's pretty cool. We met with Jennifer Reed and Michelle Stenfield, hoping to put something together for our summer youth where it would be a career exploratory option. So trying to put that together, and hopefully there'll be something more on that very soon. And then in the future, maybe put something together for a certificate program where we would be able to offer that as an option for our, adult population as well. We're still recruiting for our CDL program. We're training adults in CDL A and B licenses, not certificates. So that program is ongoing. It's going well, and really happy with the progress that we've made throughout the years on that program. Right on the heels of that, we had just started a cohort of diesel technicians, and I should say this program is in partnership with Massasoit Community College, where these people are getting a diesel, I can't remember, the alternative fuels and emissions certificate program. It's a year long. Those people just started last month, so they're still in their first class. That right now is a cohort of 10. We will be, not until the fall, recruiting for another cohort of 12 to start in January. So we will keep everybody updated on the progress of that program. Lastly, I guess I'll just end with, we have our annual STEM event, which is part of our Connecting Activities partnership. David Edwards, who I think a lot of you guys on the call probably know through other partnerships, we run a STEM event where we take our Connecting Activities high schools It's the high schools in our region, and expose them to the STEM field and jobs. And they, I believe, will be taking a tour of the cybersecurity range and shifts, or I know we're trying to do that, work that out. I think it's still being kind of looked at. But that event is coming up on March 21st. So it's, it'll be here before you know it. If you haven't seen anything on it, shoot me an email, or Mary, I'm sure we'll put out some notes. We'll get you some information on that, and I'm sure we'll be able to host you if you'd like to attend. So I think
Jason, that's great.
at the
Thank you. If you could, you will have the ability, but you can also send it to myself or Megan to send information out.
Sure.
I would be remiss. I serve as a co-chair of the Young Adults Initiative under Mass Hire. I'm not a young adult. I am an old woman, but we do have young people who are now starting to become a co-chair and be engaged. I will share information about that group, because I think that interaction, these young people are like incredibly energetic and want to be engaged. So lots of different ways. I will share information. They're open, and you're a stakeholder. And I also would be remiss if I didn't say the construction career day as well. So, right, this is STEM, and this has mathematics. It has, many elements within the construction. So that's on May 10th. I just got my postcard about it.
Yeah, we just
We'll
sent out over 160 postcards. If you didn't receive one, or again, if you'd like to be involved, like Mary said, it's construction and skilled trades. It's not typically thought of as STEM, but it is. I mean, a lot of the technology is run or based on computers, and it's exciting. So that event is coming up, like Mary said, May 10th. We're just kicking the tires on it now, really, to get everybody invited.
We're spinning those tires now already, Jason.
I have my postcard here somewhere. I know it went out, but yes, that's coming up soon.
Thank you very much, Jason. What I'd like then, maybe if Ryan or Linda or someone, if just any updates that you have for this group.
Yeah, happy to. Thank you, Mary. So just great to see you all. Vice President of Education Workforce Programs at the Mass Life Sciences Center. I think I know most of you. Lots of exciting things happening, especially for this region. We just last week approved continued funding for the Brockton High School Apprenticeship Challenge, which is this is a biotech apprenticeship program that we run every year. We've been running it since 2016 and partnering with Brockton since 2018 on a free internship lab training program that takes place after school at Brockton High School. So super excited to be able to continue that in partnership with Brockton this year. They're one of 6 cohorts around the state that offer that program. We're also, thank you, Matt, for sharing about the Bridgewater grant. We're really excited that that's the first capital grant we've ever awarded to Bridgewater State University. So can't wait. Unfortunately, I missed the event that Linda was able to attend, and that I see John Brothers joined from Mass Bioed hosted there. But I'm super excited to go down there and check out the lab equipment once it's all set up. So on that note, the application deadline for the FY25 round of that grant program is coming up just in a couple of weeks. So I encourage all higher ed institutions, post-secondary nonprofit training providers that are doing any type of training in the life sciences to submit their applications. And we also have our K through 12 program. It's actually grades 3 through 12 now, grant program. So I know that New Heights isn't able to join us, but we're working with them on an application for this round. So our internship programs are all open as well. We're accepting applications for this summer right now, and looking forward to catching up with Katie in a couple of weeks to talk about how we can continue to support high school interns working in their labs at Massasoit this summer, and also working with our higher ed institutions to support college interns working at life sciences companies and research institutions. So sorry for all that
No,
all that information, but happy to connect with folks if they have any questions.
No, that's great, Ryan. There's always so much. I did put the link because if you're not receiving their newsletter, that everything that Ryan just talked about is in there. There's a way of subscribing to their newsletter, and I highly recommend that you sign up. And Brian, whenever you're ready to open up an office in the Southeastern Mass, Old Colony Planning Council is ready to host you. Anybody, Pat Monteith or anybody, just raise your hand and unmute yourself just to give some shout out. We've got 15 minutes left of reporting out. Jackie, you always have something to say. I need your artwork in my office with your students.
Awesome. Can you guys hear me?
Again, thank you.
Awesome. So update. We actually are going to have an open house soon. We got some new digs. We're on 60 Skinner Street. Our at April vacation, we'll be doing some programming with the students for visual, digital, and performance art. And then our summer program's coming up in the summer with the students. And we're working with Jared Auclair. I think he was in one of the meetings
Yep.
in the past, to really marry the STEM with the arts, and have it really interactive for especially our middle school and high school students, and get them really engaged into different activities and looking at the career outputs. Yeah, so
Great.
that's our updates, and yeah, you guys will probably get the invites for our grand opening soon. Thank you for being a part of this.
And again, the access to everybody that is on today's, and those that couldn't make it, but you know, I know that my phone has been buzzing because saying, oh, I wish I was on the meeting, but again, that's why we record it. We'll get that out. Pat Monteith, do you have an update?
Yes, I'm driving and it's kind of hard to try to do two things at one time. Can you hear me now?
Yes, but keep your eyes driving. If you keep your eyes forward, we don't look at us. There we go. Perfect.
Okay. So in addition to everything I continue to do with the Brockton Library Makerspace, and especially the planetarium, which is just taking off, I'm actually going to be taking the planetarium to all 11 elementary schools in May and June to do a program about weather for the third graders. So that's extremely exciting for us. It'll be a bit of a headache, lugging the planetarium from one school to another, but it's going to be an incredible program for the kids. The other thing I want to mention is this Saturday, yes, the day after tomorrow, we're having the South Shore Regional Science Fair for high school students at Bridgewater State. And Matt, I really cannot thank you folks enough, especially Jenny and Maura, for all the support that we're getting at the science fair to make that program happen. We're going to have about 125 students from 40 different schools in the South Shore. And if anybody, we still actually are looking for judges in two areas. One is biomedical engineering and the other is environmental science. So if you know anybody who might be able to judge in those two categories, it would take a little bit of pressure off the judges that we do have. I don't know if I've got anything else to add to that, but
Pat,
please feel free.
Pat, if you do, certainly, again, I want to reinforce, utilize this network and the contacts in those networks. Like say, if you're looking for funding, if you're looking for judges, just put the blast out there. If you want someone to help and clap in the audience, I'd be more than happy to, but biomedical and other fields are not my field. So with that, I'm going to hand that over to John Brothers, who may be able to help with that. John.
Hi, everyone. And I apologize, I came in quite late, but I was happy to be here, and it's been lots of great stuff. I think you've already heard about some good events that happened at Bridgewater State with Massasoit and also New Heights. And we had a blast there, as did our industry partners. I just wanted to put a plug in, and I put in the chat a link to the to the Massachusetts Life Science Workforce Conference. Registration is open for that. It's going to be coming up on June 11th at Boston University. And we're building a really robust program, particularly in partnership with Brian and Mass Life Science Center. And once again, we're going to have an industry educator advisory session for workforce training programs and for colleges. So we're not quite there yet for the K-12. We want to be someday, but not quite ready for that. And that conference is for faculty, staff, it's not a student conference. This is a conference for mostly educators and workforce training, as well as for industry and for people like the people on this call.
Don, thank you. Late or not, there's always great information. And again, you being at the table and working with this coalition is terrific. I am looking, I don't know if the city of Brockton, Rob May, John Fay, anybody, or Catherine Honey, just kind of shouting out if there's anybody who would like just to add anything before we, oh, Linda Kenny, you didn't, but Rob May, why don't you go ahead?
Why, you saw me on mask and I'm here. I appreciate the flyer that you sent out from Quincy College. I thought that was a really interesting program. It's something that John Fay and I have been talking about for a while, is how to get people a certificate in biomanufacturing. So it's nice to see Quincy's doing it, and I hope we can talk somebody into the Metro South of doing that. So I just want to put that out there.
Thank you, Rob. And we always respect our institutions of higher learning in our region. I know that they're always looking for ways of certificate. I know Bridgewater State University have continuing education, having worked there for 6 years and full transparency, but also with Massasoit. So I think obviously they do their due diligence, but hearing that might be of interest, particularly Rob, I think in your case, what we're looking for, right? Brockton's been known as a city with manufacturing, as a strong base food manufacturing, et cetera. But if that gets transitioned with technology into other things, that need becomes even of a higher need. So, but that's where, I do this, I'm kind of pointing to fingers, but that's where Jason Hunter comes in with some funding for the training to work with the institutions and others to develop that program. Right, Jason? You've got funding?
This is a state grant, the Pathmakers, and
Brian
does it cover tuition, but it also pays a stipend to the students.
Brian's got to pipe right in. Thank you, Brian.
Yeah, this is a brand new initiative from the state. So it's part of what's called Mass Talent. But the Mass Life Sciences Center, so there's 4 different sectors. One of those is life sciences, and Mass Life Sciences Center runs that. We're the first program under Mass Talent. It's called Pathmaker, and then within Pathmaker there's a couple different categories. This is Pathmaker Bio, which is focused on biomanufacturing that Rob's referring to at Quincy College. Quincy College has always had a stellar biotech biomanufacturing program for quite some time, also funded by Mass Life Science Center through multiple equipment grants. But this is a new type of program that they're standing up. It's actually a short-term customized training program with a particular industry partner that has committed to interviewing the learners that go through that program at the end. So it's different. It's not their typical. It's not their existing certificate in biomanufacturing, and it's not their associate's degree program. This is a very short-term program that where the state through Mass Life Science Center is it's not only tuition free, but we're also paying stipends, as Rob mentioned, to the participants in that program, and it's in partnership with JVS.
Great conversation. Yeah, this is great. Thank you, Ryan and Rob, for bringing that up. I'm trying to look at anybody else. Boys and Girls Club, Jen, do you have any shout outs or anything that you'd like to say? And if you're busy, that's okay. I'm gonna I just want to also, I recognize that Tracy from West Bridgewater is the towns, the communities are looking, this is great conversation. Catherine Honey, did you want to add anything to the conversation? Okay, perfect.
Well, many of you may know, there are 9 STEM networks in Massachusetts, and I coordinate the Southeast Mass STEM Network. And the goal is to promote STEM and let people know about opportunities that will assist them in pursuing STEM careers. And so I have the great fortune to work with many of you who are actually on this call, and then to share what you do to our Southeast Mass STEM stakeholders. The network is, Pat Monteith, as she mentioned, the Region 5 Fair, I had the opportunity to work with her in that great program, and also with David Edwards and Jason and Claire. In terms of anything new right happening, the main focus of the networks this year, according to the STEM Council, is to work towards the STEM Week in Massachusetts, which is always held the 3rd week of October. So I hope many of you would be able to participate in that. We ask people to run activities that will introduce pre-K to 12, higher ed businesses, and community organizations to what you all do. So with your help, we promote STEM.
Catherine, thank you. I also put in the link in the chat, rather the link directly to the Southeast Network, so people can know more about it. But you're always on this, either you or obviously with the Connect partnership as well, and the work that they do. So thank you, Catherine, and for bringing all this great work. I know that Jen is from Boys and Girls Club. So Jen.
Hi there. I just wanted to kind of give a shout out to some of our recent Freight Farm efforts. We just got a 3rd farm. We are producing, it's up and running, and our other 2 farms are producing about 2 acres of produce that is fresh for our young people. We're showing them, through very, very root effort, what environmental sustainability looks like. We're giving them in Freight Farm lessons. We're doing in club monthly market lessons, giving them a depth of the understanding of what Freight Farm does in our community. We're going out into the community, delivering food, and we're talking about that and what that really looks like, and how that can provide, a root effort to answer some of the most difficult, food desert problems that our local communities are facing. So our 3rd Freight Farm.
Wow, that's amazing.
Keep the STEM lessons going.
Thanks, Jen. And I put the link to the Freight Farms, but congratulations on that 3rd. There was a strong need, obviously, with the food deserts that's within not only just of Brockton, but within the area. So I don't know about you guys, but Catherine, go ahead.
I just want to mention with the Freight Farm, the Freight Farms were part of a presentation that we run for the STEM network. And as a result, actually, one of the students from Southeast Regional Voc-Tech High School will be doing a project at the Region 5 Fair. Wow. And I was able to connect them with the Freight Farm that gave them substantial information to allow her to be successful, along with the support of Pat Monteith, who mentored her.
That's pretty amazing. That's a great success story about the connectivity and supporting each other, lifting each other up. Catherine, thank you for sharing that. Rob May.
One last time, I just wanted to report out, now that we're talking about Freight Farms, at the Brockton High School Freight Farm that was run by 2 unpaid volunteers was forced to close probably 2 months ago because of lack of leadership and funding.
Yeah, that's a sad testimony to that. And Rob, would you, if you hear of, just because this is a group, right? This is also a group that is resourceful, you know, through you or, you know, through the mayor's office, whoever, that if this is something that we would be pursuing or that that it gets revisited with private funding, you know, please keep us posted. I would venture to say, that just not only, you know, certainly Brockton, but with the challenges that lay ahead, looking outside of regular funding is going to be all the more important. And I would have this group serve as a resource, just even if there's like a chat board. I'm not saying it the right way because I'm old again, but even if there's an opportunity for folks to really talk about best ways and best practices. So I know, Rob, you're going to go, but
Will do. I'm sorry, I
all
gotta
of us, we've had an hour's discussion that has not stopped, which is amazing. Thank you, Manamet, to both Claire and Molly for your presentation. If anyone is interested in having a presentation at the next meeting, just get in touch with myself or with Megan. I'd like to get that teed up. Being virtual does help because it makes a lot of busy people to come together, but we can always do something hybrid. So again, this is 3 times a year we're doing this. This is the first. We'll do it 2 more times, but nothing prevents all of you from connecting with each other. So thank you, everybody, and look forward to our next meeting and continued partnership. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mary, for having us.
Bye-bye. Thank you.